Hello, BookTube. I have a tag for you here, part of my effort to dig myself out of the tag hole that I've got myself into. I'm kind of hoping to do a tag every day this week, and the hole got a little deeper because Adrian at Strip Cover Lit just tagged me in a tag that he did as part of Dirty 30, his celebration, his month-long celebration of the fact that his channel hit 3,000 subscribers, and with such a good cause. How could I say no? So I'm actually doing a new tag first before I get to any of the old ones. And this is a tag called I have it on the trusty Kindle here. It's the Not BookTube tag, and it was originally created by Ali at Bookish Hamster. And it's exactly the kind of tag that you all know that I love. The kind of tag that noses around in your life, rather than the kind of tag that is likely to elicit from you 20, no doubt enlightening minutes about what you thought about To Kill a Mockingbird. Something like that. I love listening to all that stuff, but if I have my druthers, this is the kind of stuff I want to hear. And it's all just a quick thumbnail sketch of who you are outside of BookTube. So we'll see how we do. Question number 1, what is your name? Steve Donahue. Question number 2, how old are you? I'm well known to be 28. Question number 3, where were you born? There's significant scholarly disagreement on this subject. Some people say Keokuk, Iowa. Some people say just outside of New Hampshire, the New Hampshire-Massachusetts border. Some people even say a small town on the shores of the Black Sea in what is now known as Turkey. So, once there's scholarly consensus, I'll let you know. Question number 4, where do you live now? I live in the outskirts of Boston, the greatest city in the world. Question number 5, have you traveled to other countries? Yes, I have. I've traveled to other countries. All countries except the Australian archipelago. Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea. Other than that, everywhere else. And before you ask, if you are, I don't even know if you are living out just in Luxembourg, or you're in South Africa, or you name it. You name it. If it's not what I just described, if it's not the Greater Australian Archipelago, then the answer is yes. I have been there. So, question number 6, what is your favorite hobby other than reading? This question always gives me trouble because I always just lump into it writing about what I read. There's no way to differentiate those two. I don't read without thinking about writing about what I'm reading. So if I lump those two together, then that presents a problem, because that's 95% of what I do with my life. Really is 95% of what I do with my life. And I can't really call raising a dog a hobby. It's far more important than that. So I think I'm going to cheat here and use a different kind of writing, because another kind of writing I love to do is writing fiction. In fact, just recently I'm learning that I have a sweet tooth for writing fiction that's a little stronger than I thought it was. So I'm going to use that, because the writing that I do every day, I do hours and hours of writing every day, and that is not fiction. So I'm going to use, as an example, as an answer for this question, the writing of fiction. That's perfectly fine. I missed out on all the preparation falderall for Camp NaNoWriMo this year. I was going to try it for the first time ever this year, but I missed out on it. So instead, I will just gear up for NaNoWriMo itself in November. Let's see here. Question number 7, what is your favorite color? Red. Question number 8, what is your favorite food? Favorite food that I now eat is potatoes. Any kind of potato product. Fried, sliced, diced, baked, you name it. Favorite food that I no longer eat? Bacon. Sizzling in the pan. Oh my. Let's see here. Question number 9. Do you have any pets? Yes, I do. At the moment, I have one dog, a miniature schnauzer named Frida. I have had many, many, many dogs in my life. Most of them, probably 95, 96% of them, have been beagles. And just recently, or comparatively recently, it feels to me, in my life, I have entered a stage where I have no beagles. And now I have, this is a very rare circumstance right now, where I have only one dog. Usually I have more than one dog, to put it mildly. Usually I have a baseball team of them crowding all around. But in this case, just one. And so far, I've only had Frida for 6 months, but so far, that's perfectly fine by me. I think a large part of the reason that I always had more than one dog is because I was always leaving them, and I wanted them to have company. You know, if you have a retail job, like for instance for 25 years I did, or if you're going to a newsroom, reporting physically to a newsroom for a long stretch of the day, you don't want to leave a dog alone, staring at the walls, chewing on stuff they shouldn't chew on, barking because they're miserable. So I would always have them with company, but that's not true anymore. I spend most of my time with Frida, so I haven't felt compelled to get her company, and she hasn't felt compelled to want it. So, but yes, I do have a pet. I have a miniature schnauzer, the smallest dog I've ever had, the first fluffy dog I've ever had, the first terrier I've ever had. So she's breaking new ground for me. Question number 10. If you had 3 wishes, what would they be? And I'm afraid that my wishes are probably going to be a lot more grounded than a lot of the 3 wishes that most people will say in response to this question, because the larger things I don't so much think about. I might want them maybe in some variation, but the 3 things that I came up with right off the top of my head are all very concrete. They're things I might actually achieve. The first one is that I would like 3 more venues for my book reviews. I would like 3 more venues, and they all have the letter I. I would like to be publishing regularly in Iowa, in India, and in Ireland. And once again, I will say, I've said this a couple of times before on this channel, this is a perfect opportunity to bring it up again. If you know of a way, if you are in a small town in Iowa, if you're in a small town in India, if you're in a small town in Ireland, and you know of a way, maybe a friend's cousin's brother, who has some sort of an in to that newspaper, or if there's one in your town and you're not sure, but you know, there are things you can check on. If you have an in, I'd love to meet them. They can judge me on my own merits. That's fine. No friction on you if it doesn't work. My rates are cheap. I write clean prose. I am completely reliable, and I'm a sweetheart about picking what books they want me to review. They know their audience better than I do. And even if you don't know someone, I'd still love to put my head together with yours to see what we can do, because my rates are extremely affordable. No, there's no small town newspaper anywhere in the world that can't afford me. I adjust my rates according to my desire to be in the venue. So if you know of a way to make that wish come true, well, feel free to let me know. Then wish number 2 is tentative. I'm not completely sure about it. I might like one more small room here at Hyde Cottage. Doesn't have to. I'm not looking for a different place to live. I'm not looking for a different layout. I'm not looking for a dramatic amount more space, but maybe one more room. And actually, that might be in the offing. I might be able to make that come true by the end of this year, because there's a large walk-in closet right here in this room that I walled off. I was never using it as a closet, so I just closed the door and put stuff in front of it, so that I had it gave me a wall. It gave me a flat wall, whereas an open door didn't. I had no way to use the space. But it's recently occurred to me that is wasting the space of that walk-in closet that could be used maybe for books. If I line one wall of that closet with bookcases, and along the other wall I hang a couple of those circular touch battery-operated lights. You touch them and you get illumination, and maybe put some blankets on the floor. That space could be used. It could even be slightly inviting. If it ever warms up here, so that I'm not risking freezing to death while I do the work, I might try opening that up and seeing what I can do. I'll allot $200 for stuff to do. I'll need 2 or 3 tall, thin bookcases, and I'll need a couple of those light fixtures. And then we'll see. If I can make it inviting, then I would be adding a room to Hyde Cottage, and that would be fine. And then wish number 3 is entirely personal, and I don't know if it'll ever happen again. And that would be a regular summer berth at Cape Cod. For those of you who are not familiar with American geography, Cape Cod is the outer. If you look at Massachusetts on a map, you will see that there's a huge portion of it is just a state on the land, and then there's a hook hooking out into the Atlantic Ocean. And that hook is Cape Cod. And I know every single inch and blade of grass and grain of sand in Cape Cod, and I love it. I've been in love with it for longer than most of you have been alive, longer than most of your parents have been alive. And I don't go there regularly. I don't currently know anyone who goes, opens up a summer place and goes there. And I would like that. I have a little dog here that I can travel with, and I would like to make that happen. I don't know. That sort of thing is the sort of thing that sort of has to fall to you. You really can't make it happen. So those are my 3 wishes. 3 new venues, which you can help me with. Iowa, India, Ireland. Go to your local newspaper. The thing you need to find out is, do you have an inn there? And, is there anybody that you can reassure that I am not expensive? And the third thing, the key thing, I forgot to mention it when I brought this up the first time, is that it won't do any good if the local newspaper doesn't run original content. If they just pull stuff off the wires and reprint stuff like that, if there's no place for me in what they run and what they publish, then there's no point. So what you want to do is look at the newspaper and see if they ever run book reviews. that will work. But anyway, that's wish number 1. And then wish number 2 is for another room here at Hyde Cottage, which I might actually be able to do. And wish number 3 is Cape Cod. If not to stay there for a couple of weeks or 3 weeks or 5 weeks during the summer, because I don't need to go anywhere. If I have an internet connection, I can stay there as long as I want. It's not like I need to take time off from work. But if not to do that, then at least to see it again. And that's it. Those are my 3 wishes. And then question number 11 is add a question of your own. And Adrian added the question, why is Adrian so awesome? And I don't know if he was joking or not, but I thought that I would answer, which is that the Strip Cover Lit is an awesome channel. It's a great thing that it has 3,000 subscribers. It deserves a lot more than that. Adrian grapples with literature. Picks old, established, canonical figures, newer figures, and doesn't just say, this was great, I love this, or you should check this out, or whatever, with Christmas lights behind him. Actually grapples into it line by line, which is a comparative rarity, even on BookTube, and something that we should all be grateful for. And also, he's shown a good deal of personal courage, hasn't he, carrying on the channel after his longtime collaborator, Dalton, was found as a bullet-ridden corpse face down in a bucket of gin in the basement of an East St. Louis whorehouse. That's a blow to anybody. And Adrian carried on. So kudos to him. He is awesome. And my optional added question is, why is Steve Donahue awesome? Because my heavy-handed invitation for compliments didn't sate me. I need more. So why is Steve Donahue awesome? When I tag you, you have to answer that question. And then, and that we're at the end. So who do I tag? And I've got a bunch of people here. My usual suspects. There's Sean the Book Maniac, Steve Partridge, Curtis Books and Film. There's Lukash, Peg, of course, Richards and Reeds, Barter Hordes. I don't think I've ever tagged you before, and that's an oversight I should correct. There's Roz at Journey Through Books, Matthew at MCS Books. There's Eric Carl Anderson of The Lonesome Reader. These are terrific nosy questions, so if you feel like answering them, go right ahead. And that is my tag for the day. That is the Not BookTube tag. I'm going to try and do a tag a day here until I get out of the doldrums. But anyway, I wanted to thank Adrian for tagging me. This was a lot of fun. And I will sign off for now, but I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.